Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all ye lands. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. Know ye that the Lord is God. It is he that has made us, and not we ourselves. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving, and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him, and bless his name. For the Lord is good, his mercy is everlasting, and his truth endurance to all generations. And that we read in Psalm 100. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome all to the Spirituals of the Christ-Light Church. This is Associate Minister Penney Moore. If you don't know me, I think everyone here, soon to be Reverend, but still Associate Minister, officially for the next hour or so. And I have my own share of stupid jokes I like to say, so I picked a couple good ones this morning. Why don't Hindus eat beef? Separation of church and state. What do you call an atheist church? A non-profit organization. That's my groaner for the morning. Maybe this one too. I prefer to get my milk from church. That way I know it's pasteurized. Last night, a naked man broke into our church and started running around. The cops finally caught him by the organ. And with that, now it's time for the implication. Sweet Spirit of God, we are grateful to be here today. We wish peace to everyone here in the room, as well as those are in spirit and our guides and master guides. We are blessed to have the opportunity to connect to Spirit in this way. We are all standing together as one as we give the prayer that the Master Jesus has taught us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. All right. And we are going to cover Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1 through 8. To everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to search and a time to count as lost, a time to keep and a time to discard, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. So most people in here are probably familiar with at least parts of this verse. And of course, you know what the subject of that song from the Byrds that came out in like around 1965 or so. Over the centuries, many people have used these verses to help gain wisdom and insight into their own lives. You know, and most people should know who Solomon was. If not, I'll give a brief history. He was the son of Israel's, I believe, second king, David, and the greatest king. He was born into great wealth and power. He had everything you could, want as a human being on this planet. But when he was writing the book of Ecclesiastes, he was really going through an existential crisis. Of all the things he had, the wealth, the power, the success, he had many wives and hundreds of concubines. If you think Elon Musk is rich, Solomon's going to say, here, hold my beer. I can't think of anyone in history who had more wealth than King Solomon. However, in spite of it all, he really wasn't happy. So if you read the first 2 chapters, we find him just lamenting over the futility of life. He argued that life was futile because of its brevity. We don't remember most people that come before us. Most people aren't going to remember us after we're gone. The sun's going to rise and set ad infinitum. The world's going to go on without us. And we're but a blink of the eye of the sun, if even that. The world is forever, and we're not. He goes on in those verses about when he realized all the wealth, the pleasure, the power, and health and that we possess, no matter how much we have, doesn't fulfill us on our deeper level. They're nice to have for a while, but then they kind of start to become cumbersome. We are bent down by the weight of our wants and desires. He argued that with even all the intelligence and the wisdom that he had in the world, and I'm sure if his IQ was measured today, it'd probably be up there with Albert Einstein. He was a very brilliant man. In the end, it becomes all meaningless. We all get old and die anyway, so why give a hoot? So, the first few chapters of this book shows a man who was in a deep state of depression, and he may even have questioned an afterlife, even though he was King David's son, the king of Israel, built by God. He really had a lot of questions that he felt God wasn't answering for him. God's barely mentioned in the first couple chapters. And, he, like us, he got caught up in the ups and downs of physical life. We live for a short time and die. So he felt that's it, just like it is for the animals. So yeah, his depression was quite obvious. However, chapter 3 shows Solomon in a much more accepting phase, and the energy of the text goes up quite a bit. He acknowledges the timings of nature. He understands that we have good times and bad times. It comes in cycles, just like the tides of the ocean. And I really think of our emotions in that way, and it's no wonder the element of water is associated with our emotions, and on the higher level, our spirit, because it flexes, it goes up and down, it flexes its muscles, it comes and goes in all manners, and then retreats only to come back again, and we all have that. In our world, we gravitate towards the positive and retract from the negative. In many ways, this shows how our minds try to balance themselves. It's impossible to operate on a high level 100% of the time. But it's equally impossible to operate on the low level 100% of the time. There's going to be times when we're sad and angry. And it's understandable when things go against what we believe in or what we want, against our very souls, that we're going to have those feelings, and it's okay. It's natural to feel those feelings when things aren't going our way. It's just important not to linger there, because if you linger in that space, it's very destructive. And then there's going to be times when we're happy and buoyant, right? Woohoo! We inspire others around us when we express happiness. And at these times, people want to be around us because, it's inspiring, it raises their vibration, and it feels good to be in that vibrational field. And it's good to stay there as long as possible because it's healing and positive. But, if you're expecting yourself or anyone else to stay in that state, indefinitely, you're being very unrealistic. You know, we're humans, we have emotions, we we were made to ride the emotional waves on a constant basis. We were designed to experience different feelings, different with ourselves and other people. So, you know, it's good to be positive, but don't expect 100% because no one is. With that in mind, you know, Solomon also affirms that there are times that we must take action. There are times when we find ourselves in danger, as an example, or when there's opportunities for growth and progress, we have to take action as well. We have to literally go out and grab the bull by the horns. We are to strive for peace as much as possible. However, you know, there are times when peace is impossible. Both the forces of light and darkness are very powerful. We live in a polarized world that is just in a need of constant balancing. The Buddha admonished us to go the path of the middle way in order to avoid the extremes. The darkness in particular likes to go into extremes because just a little bit of light destroys the darkness. When we are beset by dark forces, it's easy to become afraid. Because, you know, it's no secret that selfish individuals tend to gravitate towards the idea of power over others. And it comes from a basic insecurity that, to a degree, we all have. In this case, Solomon reminds us there is a time for peace, but sometimes, at a very last resort, sometimes there is also a time for war. There are times when we must stand and protect ourselves against dangerous people who, for some reason or another, whether it's someone who's breaking into your house or someone who's breaking into your office, you know, who's going to be a danger that everyone has to hide from. We do have the right to protect ourselves, and there's no law against protecting yourself from dangerous individuals or situations. And, you know, and he is kind of beginning to drive home the fact that we all have the power of God within us. The non-involved individuals do tend to siphon power from others in order to gain it for themselves, which is an act that expends a tremendous amount of energy. Remember, force, the difference between power and force, like Dr. Hawkins said. However, once we get to a certain part of our evolution, we discover, a lot of times accidentally, that we possess all the power that we ever need. We don't need to take it from anyone or anything else. We have it here within ourselves. We all have that God spark within ourselves that we can, we have access to 24/7, 352 or 3 days a year. We have it, and it's never going away. And those, you know, what I call the big three, Jesus, Buddha, and Krishna, came incarnated as avatars to teach us that fact that we all have the power to change our lives. Even if other people around us aren't changing, we can change our world. And once we change our world, we'll attract the people and the conditions that go in tandem with that world that we're created. We're made in the image of the Creator. We are creators. And we have it in equal measure. No one person has more of that power than others. We have it equally. And, you know, humans, we're amazing and adaptable creatures. And we can't be labeled in tidy little boxes that's been assigned to limit and box us and wall us in. We are limitless in our entirety. And we have been created to be just that. And, you know, Ecclesiastes is one of my favorite books of the Old Testament, because you see someone like Solomon, who's the king of Israel, whose wealth, probably the wealthiest man who ever lived, had everything. He was as human as you and I. He had his ups and downs just like we do. he realized, and I think that's what really kind of brought him down in the first couple chapters, when he realized, I'm really no different than, the guy at the drunk sleeping in his pool with his pee in the corner. We are all, no one is more special than anyone else. And when someone like Solomon realizes that, it's kind of hard to digest. But then, because of his wisdom, he accepted that fact, and he became a better person because of it. So no matter what we have, no matter how rich we are, no matter how seemingly happy we are, at the end of the day, we're still human. And right now, there's a lot of things that are nonsensical that's happening out in the world right now. And it seems like because we're in the 21st century, right, we should be beyond this. But we're human, and we're all at different points in our evolution. And in Ecclesiastes, it's a testament by a very astute observer that life continuously cycles. And, despite it all, we must be actively involved in life. Otherwise, all of our efforts will literally die on the vine. Things will right themselves again. We are supported by Spirit as long as we are balanced in our approach. It's also helpful to remember that our lives are going to go up and down. It bears repeating indefinitely. And, I think of the wise words said by Andrew Jackson Davis, known as the magic staff. Under all circumstances, keep an even mind. So I would like to challenge everyone, including myself, to heed Mr. Davis's words. I mean, there were times over the last 2.5 months my mind has not been in an even place. But, that's where we have to remind ourselves that we always have Spirit around us. We have loved ones around us. We have positive things around us that we can literally hang on to bring us through times that aren't always easy for us to go through. So with turmoil, the world's in turmoil, and it's best to raise our vibration as much as possible to not get caught in the spider webs of craziness that is going on right now. We're not helpless. We're powerful human beings that have the ability to create wonderful worlds that embraces all the diversity humanity has to offer. In closing, I would like to revisit our friend King Solomon for a few more moments. As a reminder, his riches did not make him happy. His political power was a little more than a mill around his neck because of all the constant responsibilities of it. However, once he sat down and allowed himself to just observe the simple pleasures of nature and all the rules of the natural world, he was actually able to find his happiness. So nature has a way of making us happy. I invite everyone to literally go out there and smell those fragrant spring flowers, all the beautiful magnolia trees that are blooming right now, the crocuses that are coming up, the lilac trees. It's just a beautiful time of the year. And a little later, just give yourself time to listen to the crickets serenade you at night. Sit outside in your desk, or out in your yard, and, put out a fire pit if necessary, and just allow that cool summer breeze to caress your face. And when it's cold, stick out your nose when it snows, or stick out your tongue when it snows. Let it fall on your nose and your tongue. And go down and make snow angels. You will believe how it immediately takes 40 years off your life, all of your age. It makes you feel like a little kid again. I think we really need that. Hug your friends, your mates, your kid, your pets. Our beautiful earth is the greatest treasure of all, and it heals us. I would like to thank you for allowing us to talk today, my spirit guides and I. Now it's time for the meditation. Okay, so everybody situate yourselves in your chair. Plant your feet firmly on the floor. Allow the chair to support you comfortably, sitting straight as much as possible. Put your palms gently on your lap and close your eyes. And take a big, deep belly breath with your nose, filling your body with the life-giving essence of God. Hold that breath for a couple counts. Slowly release. Take another deep belly breath. Hold. And slowly release. It's feeling yourself sink in that chair further with each relaxing breath. Take one more breath like this. Hold, release, and just keep on relaxing, sinking further in that chair as you continue to breathe normally. And imagine that beautiful white Christ light that was in the middle of the room earlier today. It's still here. Allow it to just sink into your body and go to your spine from the tailbone all the way up to your skull. Imagine that beautiful white light just cleansing, restoring, renewing everything, raising your vibration to its highest possible. And think of those who are on the healing list of USCL. And think of those other people who you think may need a little bit extra healing energy at this time. Whether it be your friend, your grandkids, your kids, your pets, anyone in the communities that you know. Just think of, just add those people in this beautiful, wonderful light. And at this time, I would like to add all the moms and the dads, everyone who is in kind of leadership position, our world leaders in particular, to raise the vibrations. Feel the love and compassion of God reach out and heal and say, peace, peace, all is well. And anyone who's having any kind of job challenges, put them in that light. Know that the perfect job is right around the corner. And if you're looking for love in your life that is a mate, know that that perfect person is around the corner, that is there for you, someone who respects you and loves you, and someone whom you can love and respect and work together for the common good. And there's this beautiful, red heart that I'm seeing coming in with this coming in from your root chakras. And as that energy goes up from the root, it turns from red to orange and it hits our sacral chakra, and that's our creativity. And then this light is going up to our solar plexus, which shines a yellow color, and that is our personal power space and our self-confidence. So you're saying, girl, boy, you got this. And as that light goes up further up the spine, it turns to a beautiful green color as it goes into our heart chakra, as our hearts fill out with love and compassion towards every single human being and every living thing on this planet. And now imagine this light going up to our throats, and it shines that beautiful blue color. And that is, yes, we speak our truth. We have the ability to speak our truth, and it comes from the inner parts of our souls. It's always a positive truth that we speak, a healing truth. And now that beautiful white light is going up around the back of your skull and towards the top of the head. That's our crown chakra, and that shines just a beautiful, brilliant white color along with some violet. It's just streaking like those petunias you see on your people's porches, just down like a beautiful tidal wave of purple and white light. And then finally it rests in the spot between our eyebrows, the third eye, shining that beautiful indigo color, also some silver. That's where we receive our visions. And God speaks to us through our third eye chakras. And now just allow the light, all the colors to swirl together, and it becomes just a brilliant, pristine white light that emanates from your body, and it extends out to everyone else in the room, to all the spirit friends we have here with us, as well as to our friends online. It goes out to include the entire tri-state area, Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana. And then it's going to go up to North and South America, up to the poles, and it's extend out east and west, Europe, Asia, Africa, Oceania, all the islands, everywhere shares this glorious light that heals everything it touches. And now this healing light is going to go to the very core of Mother Earth, who is a being of pure love. And her love, extends out to include everything in our solar system, the sun, the planets, and this goes out to include the entire universe. There is no end to the love in our hearts when we allow the Christ Spirit to take residence there. And at this time, I would like you to spend a few moments in the silence. And now at this time, it's time to get your consciousness back into your body. So become aware of being in your chair again. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. And when you're ready, open your eyes and welcome home.